Hello, everyone. Welcome to Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network. I am your host, LeRon Dawkins, and as always with me, the wonderful Stephanie Klimov.
Good evening, ladies and gents.
And we also have Corey Dierig.
Hello, I am here as well.
The way he says that, I think next time I need to introduce him first.
Why?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird being on this side of things. I was telling Ed the other day. I'm like, I'm usually the one hosting, and it's always weird responding when someone's like, "Oh, you're on our show. Welcome," and I'm like, "Thanks.
But
Good to be here."
But you also pimp yourself out to other shows, and what do you have? Do you feel as weird being a guest on the other shows?
Yeah, I always feel weird being a guest.
Well, what you need is a catchphrase like LeRon has, like "What's poppin'," but different.
Right?
Yeah, but what is it? Like,
I don't
you
know.
know?
Figure it out.
You got to figure something out. Like, we can't help you because what if we give you something, like you think is cool, then like audience feedback is like, that's lame as shit. Why'd you let them do that to you?
Yeah, think of something that comes naturally. Like before, I used to say "it's fine" all the time. Now that's not a hello, but like think of something that comes naturally. My son does "for real," and he does this. Like I didn't teach him that. He's just like doing the peace sign. I'm like, where'd you learn that? He's like, "For real, mom." I'm like, okay.
It's fair, I guess.
Something will come along naturally to you, Corey.
So it's a wonderful Wednesday night. How are we feeling?
Great. I am ready to podcast.
Yeah,
Good.
sure. Yeah.
Stephanie is tired.
I'm tired, but I'm also extremely angry. It's kind of funny. I admire Stoy, and I love listening to Stoy because I always feel like, even though he's had nicknames like the Joy of Arsenal X, but he always like has a lot of rants, and he always, when I say comes off angry, like I know he's not an angry person, but I love him because he's got that personality of a ranting person, because I can relate to it. Because believe it or not, be underneath this demeanor that I have, I'm actually a very angry person. And I'm
As she smiles real wide and has this like super colorful flag behind her, and she's
I'm angry.
Oh man, good times, everybody. Man, it's fine.
How are you, LeRon?
I'm okay. It's been a very tiresome week, though. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, like it's Wednesday and I'm already feeling Actually, let me take that back. I was already feeling run down by yesterday, Tuesday. And I don't know, like it's just one of those things. It's like, man, like why am I being hit with so many urges to take naps in the middle of the day now? I just don't understand it. I don't. And before you guys even get in there, I don't think it has anything to do with being old.
Maybe you got mono.
I hope not. My boyfriend and I will have to have a conversation. What
are you doing when I'm not here?
I don't just go. I don't just go around putting my lips on any and everything.
I never hear that anymore. Is that just our age bracket? Because when I was like a teenager, it was all mono. Everything's like, "Ooh, do you have mono? He, she, it." They all have mono.
Yeah, I haven't heard that word in like 20 years.
Yeah.
I had it one time, like my freshman year of college. I had it, and I remember on Christmas Day, I had it during Christmas break, and I remember like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after, I probably slept like 25 hours. It was
wow.
Like I was like really out of it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you have mono." I'm like, "Oh okay, I don't."
So what specifically is that? I've never had it.
It's I don't really know. Stephanie, you're a doctor. You tell us.
They call it the kissing disease or something, but it's not always just kissing. It's saliva, right? Transmission via saliva, and it's very common in teenagers and young adults, and you just get like really exhausted and tired and fatigued. And I believe the infection runs a very long time, right, Corey? Like I think it is in your system for like a
weeks.
month,
It's like
weeks,
at a time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that's why it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. I mean, most people who have mono usually only get it once, though. It's like one of those kind of things. It's like chickenpox, where like, well, I guess you don't see chickenpox anymore either because there's a vaccine for it now.
Yeah, I don't know if it sounds familiar, maybe not, but the virus is called the Epstein-Barr virus, EBV.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Technically, a sexually transmitted disease.
Technically?
Yeah, technically it is.
Yeah.
So it's not like a serious illness, but it just drags on forever.
It's one that knocks you on your ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So
So
add a way to start the show, guys.
Know.
After Dark is now a school lesson every day. Science. Science.
I mean,
science
we
with
try,
Steph.
Right? Yeah, I'll teach science, and then there'll be IT talk with LeRon.
Mm-hmm.
And then Corey will share like a random crazy story about his past. So that's our shtick on After Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, so basically that's been my thing. Like, and it's been. I feel like my weekend has something to do with why my week is just, like got me so run down, because honestly, like I put out to do a bunch of things on Saturday. Number one was like change my stream layout for OBS, so like I have this fresh new like look, to my stream overlay and all that stuff, and my Saturday just got derailed. My Saturday got derailed because of something that happened on Friday night, and no, it's not exciting, or as well as it's not tragic either. But I'm not going to bore anybody with the details on it. Long story short, I called myself going to bed at like 11 o'clock, which is not super early for me on a Friday night. But like me going to bed before midnight on a Friday night is always early to bed for me. But something kept my attention and kept me awake till 2:30 in the morning. And I had an alarm set when I thought I was going to bed at 11. I had an alarm set for 6:30. 6:30. Well, 6:30 is usually my time that I would get up if I'm going to do a workout on the weekends. But I haven't done a weekend workout since wintertime started, which is something else I got to get back into doing. So yeah, I had the alarm set. And just wound up not being able to go to bed till like 2:30. So the alarm, I forgot I had the alarm set. So the alarm goes off at 6:30. I snoozed that bastard like 9 times. Eventually I forced myself awake around 9 something, but I didn't have any energy at that point. So I didn't get up out of bed till 10:30. And then it was just another like series of events the other day, because I had to get some things done, for around the house stuff. And by the time I sat down and started doing the like what I wanted to do, it was after 6 in the evening, and I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I was like, you know what? Now I have to devote my Sunday to it. I did devote Sunday to it, but I didn't get anything done. And then Corey can tell you, like I was like, man, I gotta get shit done on Monday, and Monday is like the worst time because like I'm back to work. So I think the momentum from the weekend just killed my vibe for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just started you off all fucked up. And then
for real, yeah. That's really the best way to say it too.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, all I was gonna say is, it's Wednesday though, so yeah, like it's always one of the best nights of the week though.
It is the best night of the week, LeRon. You correct yourself.
Okay, I'll say it's the best night of the week in front of you guys, but I'm not going to say that, in front of my boyfriend.
Whatever. Anyways, yeah, I got home from my work trip last week, and it went right into my son's birthday party, and then it just
that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't get any rest. It's like, oh my gosh, this is a busy weekend going into another busy week this week, and it's just like I just want like some time to chill, just want to sit down, want to play some games, want to watch something, want to not clean crayon and marker off the wall every 5 minutes. So my daughter's my daughter's in an arts and crafts phase. So there's crayons, markers, glitter glue, paint, like watercolor paint, just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Good luck. That's all you can do.
It's fine. She's been asleep since 8:30 tonight though, so I feel accomplished.
Nice.
It turns out when they don't nap during the day, they get tired earlier and then they'll fall asleep earlier. Pro tip.
Who would have thought?
Oh, I love my kids when their eyes are closed and they're quiet. Among other times, people, come on, not an animal. I just like peace and quiet and alone, being alone.
I never thought my whole life growing up that I would ever want to seek peace or seek quiet of all things. But yes, that is something that like, and my son's really chill. He's pretty cool and whatever, but I can only take so much fart jokes and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I go to the bathroom. I'll go to the bathroom and just like sit there just so I can hear nothing.
I like how she just said the word fart jokes and LeRon just laughed.
They're funny, but he says it like 500 times, like one after another. So I literally said, listen, I am not a parent that gets all offended with potty words, but like, it's just getting old, dude. Stop. It's not funny anymore. He goes, it's always funny.
So my daughter's new thing now is she'll like run up to you and pull her pants down and fart on you. And then she'll turn around and say, Daddy, I farted. I'm like, I know. I felt it.
Oh man. They're a joy. They're just
kids.
a joy.
Kids are awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. So the thing is though, I gotta get her to stop. Like today she like drug her brother down the hallway by his pants. And I'm like, you gotta stop. Like, just stop. He's not a toy. And we're always like, this is the funny part. It's not funny, but it is funny. It'll be funny when they're older and they understand. But like, she like, sometimes she'll like hit him or kick him or push him down or whatever. We're like, Riley, why did you hit your brother? And she's like, 'cause I like to.
I like to.
I'm like, no. Bad.
Can you please like something else?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Have you run across some of these moments? Because I have a few friends who have kids, and have y'all ever run across these moments where like you look and it's like, this little asshole cannot be mine?
I mean, no, because she's good when we go other places. That's the thing. They're good kids when we go other places. It's like when we're home though, it's just like, oh well, gloves are off.
I think Nikolai is kind of freakishly very similar to my personality. I think the only time I've ever done the "is this my kid" was when I was told that he just poked a kid in the eyeball at karate.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
And I asked him like, hey, why'd you poke him in the eyeball? And he goes, 'cause he was ignoring me. I'm like, out of all places to poke him, you had to poke his eyeball? I try not to laugh.
Oh man. Isn't that like the best though when like when your kid like hurts another kid? And you're like secretly you're like, yeah, that kid deserved it. And then like whoever's in charge is like, no, your kids can't hit another kid. And you're like, probably deserved it, that little fucker. It's just like, oh man, it's the best.
Well, I am kind of doing this thing where Nikolai has actually been hurt by other kids before. Like a kid like sucker punched him in the stomach. And he's like, what do I do? So I'm like trying to walk him through. He's like, because his father's like, just punch him right back. I'm like, hold on, let's do it in a stepwise system. Number 1, tell the kid to stop. Number 2, tell the teacher. if the kid is still physically assaulting you after doing all those things, if you punch him, I'm not good. I will be on your side. And Nikolai's like, "Are you sure, Mom?" I'm like, as long as you follow those rules, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Kids.
Anyway,
Am
kids.
I right?
Yeah.
Speaking of kids.
Just. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, LeRon. Sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to say, just as a quick reminder to all of our listeners out there, like you can always catch Boss Rush After Dark early on patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. And you will have the joy of getting episode 2 weeks earlier than anybody else does if they're waiting for the free feeds. And always remember to check us out over at bossrush.net for all of our other wonderful content from a ginormous team of creatives and writers and things of that nature. There's always something for everyone out there. And yeah, that's my little bit of housekeeping.
Oh, thanks, LeRon. You're so responsible.
I'm shrinking it down. It's going to get to the point where I'm just going to pre-record something.
I mean, it just got to the point where I just stopped doing it.
I know you stopped doing it. Well, but I'm still trying to like at least let people know there's a Patreon.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I should probably do that too. But also, we should probably just pre-record it and put it at the beginning and shut up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I forgot to read our Patreon producers on Boss Rush podcast today.
What would you like to do it? What would you like to do it now for After Dark then?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's the other flagship.
I know, but I should probably do that for Boss. I'll do it after we record the show. But our Patreon producers, if you support the show at the $5 level on patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, you too can be shouted out as a producer of this here program. I would like to thank Adrielle Munger, Rebecca Jewell, and my wife, Sana
Aww, thank you.
So, thank you to the $5 producers.
We love you.
For the month of March.
Yeah, we really appreciate you.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the Boss Rush Network. If you don't support the Boss Rush Network financially, remember, you can support us by leaving a 5-star review for After Dark on your iTunes or Spotify app.
Yeah, it helps with searchability and stuff.
Yeah. What she said.
Exactly what I said.
Anyways, continue, LeRon. Sorry.
Oh, no. I just want... I basically said the piece. I just wanted to see if we're ready to roll into some topics.
Yes! Yeah. Topic me up.
All right.
Should I?
Yeah, we'll start with Stephanie's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel bad. Mine seems kind of ranty, but
who cares?
I don't know. We'll see. So this topic is kind of more on the heavier side, so to speak. So I recently had to have a biopsy. And just a little personal history. This might be TMI. Well, I hope not. I wouldn't think. But I had cervical cancer before. In 2013, I had an abnormal pap, and they're like, oh, well, it could really not be anything. So what happens when you have an abnormal pap as a female, biological female, is they schedule you a colposcopy, and that's just basically adding like vinegar, iodine, like the chemical reactions and stuff like that, where they look. It's very uncomfortable. They look for any hot spots, meaning like any changes in the cells. And they found this gigantic hot spot. They sent it out for testing, and it turned out to be, they call like cervical interstitial neoplasia stage 3. And I had to have a LEAP procedure, which is essentially like this metal rod electric thing, and they just buzzed off that cancerous part of my cervix. It was horrible because I was awake for the entire thing, and
that sounds crazy.
And they wouldn't give me any pain medication. I'm like, yeah, would it kill you to give me one Vicodin while I'm in the office? I'm not gonna like walk away with a prescription and start abusing, but no, they wouldn't, and it was awful. It was a terrible experience. I mean, I was educated. I knew that cervical cancer has a very high survivor rate because it's almost always caught early. The downside of cervical cancer is if you don't catch it early, then it has a really horrible survivor rate. So like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, life flashed before my eyes, I'm going to die, but it still sucks. I don't know how many years, but I was in my early 20s. It really sucks to be like, oh, hey, you have cervical cancer. And we have to shave off part of your cervix. And probably a one-time thing. It wasn't going to affect my ability to have a child. But the less of a cervix you have, the less likely you can really carry a healthy child, healthy pregnancy.
I'm curious, like, how much do you know specifically how much they did shave off? I'm okay. By the way, I'm kind of a weirdo. Like, I don't want to hear about complex medical procedures, but I have a curiosity about them. So I usually will ask these questions.
No, it's fine. I mean, I'm in the medical field, so I'm fascinated by it. But no, he didn't like say like what percentage of my cervix got cut out. I got to see it when he took it out, and I'm like, oh.
That's crazy.
Like I'm trying to think of like a comparable object, and it's hard for me to. But I would say it's like a size of a rock. I don't know what else to say. Like it was, but it was weird, right? But yeah, and it was painful, and I didn't like it. And the worst part was because for me it was HPV related. So I was HPV positive for the particular strains that cause cancer. And they're like, that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And they say, basically, I'm going to have a 30-ish% chance of have reoccurring issues. And I'm like, that sucks. Like, it's one thing to just cut it out and I never have to deal with it again, but that sucks. But, you know, many years later, I've had a couple close calls where that Pap's abnormal, but once they do the colposcopy, they're like, oh, we don't see anything, so you're good. Unfortunately, my last checkup, Pap came back abnormal. It's time to go to the colposcopy. And I'm so used to it by now, I'm like, they're going to probably find nothing, just like before. And the doctor's very quiet the entire time. I was like, oh, he's extra quiet. Why isn't he saying anything? And he asked for more iodine because that helps kind of look for things. He goes, 12 o'clock. I'm like, 12 o'clock? What's at 12 o'clock? Now, here's the thing. I thought he was done, but I look up or down, whatever, and he was like big-ass metal rod. Again, like, I don't know what the fuck they use to put up our bodies. It's scary as fuck. He's like, no, I'm not done yet. I need to take a biopsy. I see something. I see a growth. I see an abnormal growth. I'm like, no! And I'm like, it was very uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. And then that was the end of the procedure. So I am unhappy that I might have cervical cancer again. It's not.
Oh, you haven't gotten the result yet.
No, I have to wait 2 weeks.
Shit.
Yeah.
2 weeks. So there's still a chance that it might come out quote unquote negative, like a benign mass that might just go away. But it's nerve-wracking enough where in the past they just won't see anything. This was a visible thing that he saw on my cervix. I'm like, fuck. And here's the part that, you know, those 5 stages of grief. I hit an anger stage yesterday where Gardasil, the vaccine, came out around the time I was a teenager. And back then, there was a lot of stigma behind HPV. I don't know if there really still is or not. Like, oh, you only get HPV if you sleep around and you're a slut. I don't know, you know, my parents had that sentiment, but not to their fault because many people had that sentiment. And I really never got alone time with my OB or my doctor, so they're like, no, the vaccine's too new. We don't know a lot about it. Does this sound familiar?
Yeah.
And again, it's for sluts or whatever. If they just let me have had that vaccine, I would have never gotten cervical cancer, and that makes me mad, super mad. Not at my parents, because by a certain age I could have made a decision, and I don't know when I got it. So like, I'm just mad in general because now the COVID thing. I won't dwell on COVID too much. All these fucking people. Like, oh, we don't know about it. It's all about pharma and money. I mean, yeah, pharma's making money off it, but the point is like, people are so closed-minded and just so, I'm sorry, this is what gets me so mad that you don't understand the consequences of once you catch whatever disease the vaccine's protecting you against. It's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
With COVID, even if you end up having a mild disease, a third, that's a magic number. A third of people get long COVID. There's now scientific evidence that your brain shrinks the same amount as someone with dementia. And they just don't get it. And people have this biggest fucking hang up about a vaccine. And that's what got me mad. I'm like, people were suspicious or whatever, cautious about Gardasil, and look at the price I had to pay because I did not get vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And now I'm all angry. Mm-hmm. I just got angry. So
it's something, I don't know, something about vaccines that just fucking like send people into I don't know, like stupidity or some shit. Like the dumbasses that swear up and down like vaccines cause autism and shit, you know, stuff like that. Trust me, if vaccines cause autism, we would have learned about it long before like it became this thing in the 2000s, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's fucking insane the way people look at. I mean, yeah, you know, like I'm a black person, you know, and
you are,
and historically, black Americans, you know, they get the wrong end of the stick, you know, through the medical profession, and this is historically, this is in the history of not just our nation but in the world, you know, and stuff like that. So, you know, like I understand, like, you know, in older generations of black people, like having mistrust of medical procedures and vaccines and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't know, like I am so glad that, you know, like I'm a man of science. So like, you know, I typically believe medical science 95% of the time. Yeah, some of that shit's just wild and out there, you know, and some of it doesn't sound credible. But for the most part, whenever you tell me there's something that's going to save my life, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, and you know, from a cultural standpoint, yeah, there has been a very long-standing history. With COVID, I think it's more of like a politically charged mistrust to add insult to injury. And I don't know, as a medical professional, it angers me because I'm not saying the CDC and FDA are perfect. Like I forget the name of it, but they had approved a while back this like a drug for Alzheimer's. It costs millions of dollars, and the data is actually horrible. Like, I honestly, many in the medical field really don't know why, and they're thinking maybe they were pressured to approve it, but, like, the data sucks. Mm-hmm. Like, it really sucks. So, yes, they're not perfect. We should never, ever blindly follow any institution. But the bottom line is the FDA is still the FDA. Like, scientific studies still must be conducted. You know, there's still regulations on it, so... And vaccines are all about risk versus benefit, right? Like, yeah. Hey, would you rather have like a 0.001% chance of having a side effect or a vaccine, or like, but have protection from a life-threatening disease for the rest of your life? It's like common sense. But yeah, it made me think about everything all over again, and I get bitter. I'll admit, I get bitter about the fact that I have to deal with reoccurring cancer, maybe because I missed the train on a vaccine, because maybe I as well and the people around me were too suspicious of a vaccine.
Yeah. That's what my cousin is going through right now. She actually has stage 4 cancer from this because they didn't catch it, and she's having a really rough time. Obviously, because, like, you know, she just went through, 7 rounds of chemo, and now she's doing infusions and stuff, which, you know, we're all trying to, like, deal with it in our own ways, but, like, every time I hear something like this, I'm just like, gosh, like, just take care of yourself, and I should probably follow my own advice. I haven't been to a doctor in, like, 5 years, but, you know,
but it's true, because your family member, stage 4, that is the late stage, and like that's where the survival rate drops. I'm not saying like she's doomed. I'm just saying like that's the importance of catching things early. That's the only point I'm saying. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's why I brought it up. You know, it's hard to watch because like she came to my son's birthday party last weekend and she was like, you know, she was like happy because nobody was like treating her like she was sick, you know, like sometimes, you know, how many times can you ask a person who's been dealing with this for 6 months, like, how are you feeling? You know, and it's like,
yeah,
you know, that's, but, you know, we're all trying to like get through it, but she's been really good about it, actually. I'm kind of surprised that she's doing as well as she is mentally, at least, you know, but I really hope
thinking about her.
I really hope that that is not the case you're looking at. You know,
knock on wood. I feel like even if I do have it, I don't feel like it's stage 4. I don't want to jinx it, but like I get it annually and whatever. So
yeah, the odds of it being straight to stage 4 is crazy.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I just really dread having to have another leap. I don't like having part of the inside of my body shaved off. It's not fun.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. And I hope you don't mind if I share just one more thing that frustrates me, and I think maybe it might be not as common, but who knows? You know, we still have people of the older generation around, and I'm not going to say who this older generation person was because I love the person. When I kind of had to share like what happened, that person, like the biopsy, that person's like, how do you get cervical cancer? Like, do you just eat something really bad or whatever? So I had to educate them. I said, you get it from HPV. They're like, what? And I'm like, it's not HIV. Don't confuse it. But I said HPV is a papillomavirus. She goes, is that an STD? So basically, again, maybe it's less so than before, but there's still a stigma around. And this person was now starting to insinuate, like, how long have you been sleeping around with people? And how many people are you sleeping around with? What kind of dirty people are you around, or dirty places? I'm like,
damn, that person sounds like a real jewel.
Yeah, and I don't know, is that just maybe the type of people that I'm related to, or like if other people experience the stigmatization of that still, like, yes, it can be transmitted sexually, but it's technically, at least in my knowledge, it's technically not an STD. It's like this very easily transmittable virus. Most people don't have symptoms, especially men, so it just gets passed around, and
that's the crazy part. The fact that men are like asymptomatic carriers.
Yeah.
And no, well, just because you have it doesn't mean you're a dirty little hoe. Like, I'm sorry, it's not a qualifier for it. It makes me feel horrible.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just think people just things that, especially like the older group, like it reminds me of like when I go to podcasts and like I'm doing one with LeRon or Ed and my mom whispers, "Is that the black guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Mom. You don't have
Why
to
are you
whisper
whispering?"
Yeah, like it reminds me of that a little bit, right? Where like it's there's like a there's like an age line where like certain things are accepted or understood, and then there's the old way of thinking, and it's just like, come on. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my mom, but she's almost 70, so you know.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So thanks for letting me talk about that. It's you know, I don't know. I don't have a lot of people to really talk to it about, and there's something really weird about it. I know a lot of it's in my head, but I just find it weird to like go up to someone, even if it's a friend, and be like, "Hey, I want to talk about the fact that I might have cancer." It's a weird thing to talk about. I don't want people to think I'm attention grabby, or they might just not be able to handle how emotional I can get or the feelings that I feel.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't talk about things because I'm afraid of that too, but this is what this platform is for, right? To like, if we're struggling with something, I mean, yeah, we're dumb and silly and talk about, you know, big boob pirate simulator RPGs that I sent you in the chat, right? Like, it's a real game, by the way. It's in our Discord. It's hilariously just terrible, but we wanted to do this because we do have things to talk about also, you know, serious things, and that's what it's for. So, I mean, And it goes for anybody who's in our community or whatever, right? If you have something you want to talk about, like what this show specifically exists for,
Yeah.
So, thank you for sharing, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you.
We are here for you.
Thank you. And for any lady listeners out there, you're not alone, and we should never have to be worried or concerned to talk about our health.
It's true. It's very true.
All right, Corey, do you want to go next, or should I go next?
You can go next, I guess.
Okay. All right, I've got a fun topic actually.
Great.
I've got a fun topic actually, and it has to do with pets.
Yay!
It has to do with pets, and we're not gonna start mudslinging by like which pet's better, cats or dogs, and nothing like that. But
dogs.
What I want to ask you is like, what is well, first of all, the three of us, we've all had pets before, right?
Yes.
Like, I mean, like pets we actually loved and were forced into, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
I was forced into this one, but she's creeping on me from the hallway.
So I could ask in full confidence then, like to name an experience of a pet you had that is just like a life-changing experience or something that you will never forget for the rest of your days.
Huh.
I will tell you this one. When growing up, my family we love chows, like the chow chow dogs. I love them. They're amazing. They're amazing dogs. They have iffy temperament, but they're amazing dogs and stuff like that. Now, as a grown up now, I'm more of a Dalmatian person, but I still love chows. As a matter of fact, I was coming home from a job Monday, and there's something about this neighborhood that I live in now. This new neighborhood, someone's dog is always getting loose. Like I've seen 4 different dogs, in the time that I've been here, like, just running around the street like shit. One day we had one run into my house when we had some movers bringing the couch, and so our door was open, and all of a sudden we had a dog up in the house. Dog was cool as shit though, like very people friendly and stuff like that. And I was looking and I was like, you have no tags or whatnot, but he had one of the harness braces on, which means that like he's somebody's dog. Mm-hmm. so yeah, I wound up like walking around the neighborhood and eventually got him back to his family and stuff like that. But that's not the experience. So yeah, when I was growing up, like my family, especially my dad, he loved chows. So like we had 3 different chows like throughout the time that I was growing up and stuff like that. The last one that my family had, before I moved out of the house, we had a black chow. She was a short-haired one, so she was the ones that looked more like the lions and not the bears. Mm-hmm. Yeah, her name was Tanya, and I love that dog. As a matter of fact, I hate to say it, but that was probably by the time it was all over, that was my dog, basically. So yeah, grew up the later part of my teenage years with Tanya, and then I joined the military. And I started being away from home, pretty long. I came back from my first deployment, so it was gone. So it was gone for 7 months, on top of the time that I was already gone just from being stationed in a different state and stuff like that. So I got home, and it was at night. I remember that. I got home at night, and I was just asking my mom some things, and I was like, "Hey, like Tanya's not in the house. Where is she?" I was thinking that I was about to hear, "Oh yeah, she passed away or whatnot," stuff like that. And like no, like Tanya's outside. Like we like found out she likes being outdoors at night, so we built her a little cage, a pen, and like put her, made a little doghouse for her and stuff like that. And she's out there now. I was like, "Oh really?" I hadn't seen a dog in maybe 2 years at this point. So I just remember like I stepped on the back porch, and I kind of heard her like moving around, but it was more of those moving around because she hears something, And I just called her name, and immediately it went from the most excited barking to almost like she was crying from hearing my voice. And it was, and my mom was like, "Oh my god, I have never heard her act this way before." So I was like, I gotta go get her. So like I immediately opened up her pen, and this dog ran herself in circles. You know, like how they say, what's the zoomies?
Mm-hmm.
This dog's like 9+ years old at this point. Had like the worst case of zoomies a big dog could ever have. Like basically ran herself sick in that dark ass backyard around me. And every time I would move, she would try to tackle me so I would not go anywhere. The the greatest I that was the greatest moment I've ever had with any of the pets I've had. And I've had a lot of joyful memories with pets and stuff like that, but that one, Tanya passed away like a year or two after that. But beyond that, because another thing about chows is apparently like they wind up getting like their I don't know if they're I wouldn't say their brain swells or whatnot, but they wind up getting a lot of fluid built up in their skull and stuff, and it winds up, and that's also why chows have wind up getting like a displaced temperament where they start getting mean for whatever reason, stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah, eventually like she passed away, and I think the vet said like it had something to do with that condition that the dogs get when they get older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that was like I just thinking about it makes my heart melt every
That's
time.
incredibly precious.
Yeah,
Oh, I
That's
love
cool.
that.
yeah, yeah. So that's my experience. Yeah, I've had a couple other pets, since Tanya, and I've loved them equally, as I did Tanya. But like I don't know, like it's something about like your childhood dog, like remembering you after you've been away for so long. Because that's the other thing too. People like say like like dogs have like a very short attention span and they don't remember everything. That girl remembered me.
Oh, that's so. Oh, gives me the warm and fuzzies, LeRon.
Yeah.
I wish
Dogs.
I grew up with a dog, but my mom hates animals because she doesn't want fur in the house. It's
Mhm.
like a really lame excuse. But growing up, we at least had a cat because my dad had the cat before he met mom. So,
Mhm.
and the cat's name was Brandy. He was an orange cat.
Mm.
And so that was my first exposure to a pet. Now, unfortunately, Brandy was abandoned, possibly abused. So he wasn't mean, but he just wasn't friendly either. He just stayed in the basement and wanted to be left the fuck alone, like that
Yeah.
thing. And as a child, I, of course, took it upon myself to force my love upon it.
As you should.
So I mastered all his hiding places. Every single time I would find him, all the time. And I would literally force him into my arms and hug him and love him. And he would never like scratch me or bite me. But obviously, as soon as I let go, he'd go back down to the basement. But so it might have been unrequited one-way love. And I don't mean to turn this into a sad thing, but I loved him to death. I was like, I don't know. And I remember he was old and getting sick and stuff like that. And so I believe my parents knew he was dying, but as a kid, like I didn't know that he was on his way out, and there was no time frame of when he was going to die. But he wasn't feeling well, so my parents put his bed right at the top of the basement steps and left the light on for him. And I was lying in bed and he was meowing all night. And I was wondering why. I'm like, why the heck is he meowing? I can't sleep. So I go downstairs. I noticed the light was on. So I'm like, I'm going to turn this light off. And I pet him. I'm like, I don't know why you're meowing all night, but I petted him, gave him love, went back upstairs. And the next memory I had was in the morning and my dad saying he's dead.
Oh no.
And I was like, I was giving him his last moments of love.
Yeah, you're comforting him.
And because he stopped meowing after that. Like after I petted him, he didn't meow for the rest of the night, and it just like I was a mess for a long time. I loved him, even if he loved nobody else. I loved him. And I think that just caused me to have a very strong affinity for orange cats, hence Paxil. So as soon as I adopted my own cat,
Paxil is such a cool cat, by the way.
She's cool because I got her early, and I'm not like, I know we try to get rescues, but in this case, she just happened to just be born, and I adopted her. And yeah, I treated her like a dog, and I think that's why. If you treat a cat like a cat, that's how you get the cat-like personality.
Mhm.
But if you treat a cat like you would a dog, that's why she fetched. That's why she went on walks with a leash for a time, and she sleeps next to me every single night, and never scratches. She's always chill and just so goofy, and she rolls over, shakes hands, does all that stuff.
Mhm.
So basically, you're saying you wish you had a dog.
Eventually, but I don't think I can find it within me to get a dog while she's still alive, because then she'll feel replaced, because she's a one owner cat. Like, she is attached to the hip to me.
Mm.
Like, she'll come to me if I call her 99% of the time. But when she does pass, I might consider getting a dog. I want a corgi real bad. But we'll see.
Wow. Well, I guess I had a dog named Rocky, who I loved. Like, I named him Rocky because I was like, I don't know. It was at a time where I was still kind of like playing sports, but I wasn't, because I had come home from Columbus where I was playing football, and then I stopped playing sports, but I was still into like the Rocky movies and like, sport things. And he had little white paws like mitts, so I named him Rocky. And he was a Beagle Terrier mix, and I was like in a really kind of sad place at that point. And so I got a dog because I had broken up with the girl I was dating at the time, and I'd come home from school and kind of had no friends in the area, and so I got a dog. That's what you do, right? You just get a dog. And he was a great dog for about 6 years, and then he got really, really sick because those two breeds apparently don't terriers have get some sort of like weird disease when they get older, and beagles kind of get other weird like hip whatever, and so like we ended up having to put him down when he was 7.
Oh no!
Oh,
So he was like really young, and at that point that we taught him how to sit and stay and whatever, and but like when he got sick, he started getting really mean, to the point where like we had to keep him outside and away from people, and
that sucks.
and we ended up just having to put him down. And but yeah, that was, I don't know, there's nothing really else to say about him. He was a fun dog to play with and walk, and we went on runs together, and yeah, he was cute though. He was really cute. He was really strong too. Like you could see, those like memeable pit bull things where like the pit bulls are like huge with like bulging human sized muscles. Like it wasn't like that, but you could like see his muscles through his skin and stuff. He was like oddly like muscular. But anyways, that's my pet story. He was fun. But I also at that point was like, I don't know if I really want to deal with that again. Like getting, putting a dog down or a pet down.
Oh yeah.
I've been super hesitant to even consider getting a pet. I assume we will at some point, like when this cat dies, and we have a house and a yard. I'm sure we'll have some sort of dog running around in the backyard, but at this point I'm still like really hesitant to like even get that,
Yeah.
So super fun times. Anyways, is it my turn? Are we done?
Yeah, it's your
Anybody have
turn.
any other pets
It's
you
your
want to
turn.
talk about?
No, that was. I have a really funny story.
Tell it.
Do it.
It's pet related. Okay, what grade was I in? I think I was in the seventh or eighth grade. And this is right before we got our second chow. His name was Tyke, but before we got this, uh, I can't remember. Like it was an animal I got from school. I think it was a hamster. No, gerbil. It was a gerbil. It was a little brown and black spotted gerbil. And and I remember the school wound up giving him that gerbil and a few others away and stuff like that because I can't remember for sure what was going on, but it was basically one of those situations where it was like, hey, like if you guys are going to adopt a gerbil, this is it because you come back there, they won't be here. One of those situations. So I adopted a gerbil, and my sister at the time was maybe like younger than three, but older than one. She was in like the walker phase, you know, like the thing you put kids in so they learn how to use their legs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I remember she had a fascination with this gerbil. Uh, and I remember sometimes I would cat I had to learn to lead to like keep my door closed. And you know, it was one of those situations where my parents, when they figured out why I was keeping my door closed, they no longer got upset with me because like there's no such thing as closing your door, and like as a child closing your door in the house, you know, and stuff like that. But when they found out that my sister would run in there and just be like, she's fascinated with the gerbil, like she doesn't really realize that she's scaring the bastard to death, you know. Because one day I came in and I caught her in the room, and she was banging on the cage, and poor gerbil was running in the wheel, and. And so I'm freaking out. Like I drag my sister out of my room. I close the door. My parents get pissed, and they're like, "What are you doing? Like you know you're not supposed to close you know you're supposed to close your bedroom door in this house." And stuff. I tell them what's going on. They're like, "Okay, we understand. Okay, we'll allow it. You know, but it's only when you are not in the room that you can close the door."
Oh my
So
god.
so I want to say it was maybe like a week or so later. Like uh I I can't remember what I was doing, but it was one of those situations where it was like, you know, your parents will let you go outside, you know, to like play and do stuff, right? So I'm just out hanging out with one of my best friends at the time. So like I'm just a couple of houses down the street, and I know for sure we were just fucking around playing NES games and stuff like that. So I come home. I come home and it's like and I didn't think anything of it. Like I come home like, you know, in time for dinner and stuff. So, you know, sit down, we eat dinner and stuff like that. By the time I finally get to my room, I realized that the door is open, and I was like, okay, all right, yeah, I must have forgot to close the door. You know, I didn't want. So I walk over to the cage, and it's feeding time for the gerbil. And usually at night, like after I've fed the gerbil, like you know the little Cheetos twist things, he loved those things. So I would give him like half of one, and you know at night, you know before we're done. So I go to give so I get the cheese I get a Cheeto stick, and I get ready to give it to him, and I get to the cage. The poor guy, he's in the wheel, and the wheel is just rocking, and he's dead.
Oh my gosh.
Did he run so hard that he gave himself a heart attack? Is that like
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and here's the crazy part, right?
Oh
Here's
my
the crazy part.
gosh.
So like, I run out the room, and you know, it's so far, it's so far back. I can't remember what I named the guy. You know, like I didn't even have him that long. That's you know, I want to say I probably had the gerbil for like maybe like at best like 6 weeks. You know, I hadn't had him long enough to like basically make a real imprint.
well, they're not long-term pets, let's be honest.
That's true. That's true. But yeah,
They're made to die.
Oh.
so I kid you not, right? So I'm a little upset, but you know, like I'm not like like how like a kid would normally be all the pieces about plus I'm a teenager, you know, like at this point I'm like 14 or 15 maybe, you know, it's the first pet that actually no I was a little bit younger than that, maybe I was like 12 or 13, yeah, because I'm 12 years older than my sister. I had to be at least 14 years old at the time. Um, And so I tell my parents that like the gerbil's dead and stuff. They come in the room, and I kid you not, like my mom sees the gerbil in the cage, and she just starts cracking up laughing. And then she turns around and tells me, "Yeah, I had to get your sister out of the room because she was banging on the cage." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, but when we left, he was fine. He was running around the cage, but he was fine." And I was like, I'm like, "So you left, and he had a heart attack?"
Oh my gosh, that poor thing.
Oh my god! And like, so yeah, like, the funny part is like my sister doesn't even remember, but I remember. I remember one time, like I was really pissed at my sister, and I told her like when she was like 5 or 6, she killed my child. That traumatized
Wow.
her.
That's really mean.
I mean, I traumatized her so bad, it's to the point where I know, I know I mentioned it one time. Like we're now adults. I know I mentioned it one time, and she's like, "You shouldn't even play with me like that." So
Wow.
oh my god, I'm
Oh,
a bad person. She
Wow.
killed my gerbil though. If you're listening to this podcast, you know damn well what you did.
murderer!
Okay, I'm done.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Come on, it's just as funny as it is mortifying. Come on now.
Yeah, poor.
Yeah, it's
That poor
that's
guy.
crazy.
Yeah.
That poor guy.
Didn't stand a chance.
Maybe when I get a kid of my own, I'll get him a brown and black speckled gerbil.
Maybe you'll get yourself a
I don't
gerbil,
know.
and then when it
I don't know.
dies,
I
you'll
think
blame your child.
Whoa.
maybe I think now I do remember the smell, and I'm not sure how I existed in a bedroom with a gerbil. I don't know.
Because
they
kids
don't
don't care what things smell like.
Yeah. They don't care about smells. They don't care that it's like 10 degrees out with a t-shirt. They just don't.
But the cool thing was this was a quiet gerbil. You know how like little like that little rodents like they make noises and stuff. Like I think the only time I really heard it squeak was when it wanted something. You know, like when it legit wanted something. Not like pay attention to you like type squeak, but like it would squeak to get my attention, but it was because it wanted something. I remember that, but I don't remember any time. Like it didn't squeak at night, thank God, because I'm one of those people like I do like to be able to sleep at night. So if that bitch had kept me up at night, like he probably would have found a nice house outside in the kitchen or something.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe don't ever get a gerbil ever again.
Yeah. Yeah. Or gift one to my sister. See what happens.
Oh.
Oh my god. Anisha, I love you. Oh my god.
You should get her like a stuffed one. Not like a stuffed animal,
Actually,
but like a
you know
real
what?
gerbil that's been stuffed.
Oh no! You know what though? I think you know what. Now I think about it though, I think I have like messed her up for life because like she has all sorts of disdain for like mice and rats and stuff. It like if you have a dog that looks like a rat, that's the first thing she'll say. It looks like a rat. Get that rat out of here.
I don't like rat-looking dogs, though.
Me neither. I'm not a fan of chihuahuas.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I got an ab workout from that. Thanks, LeRon.
Okay, I did my job then.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. Are we going to keep going? Are we going? Are we keeping going? Or are we done?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah. I mean, like, depends on how long you think the topic. I still think we have a little bit of time. I mean,
Okay. I was just wondering if everybody was okay, and if you wanted to save this for next week, we could. If not, then we'll keep going.
I'm good.
let's do it.
Okay. Well, I went on a work trip last week.
Yeah.
And it was really, really interesting. Well, not the work part, but so we went to a party on Wednesday night. And we were like, okay, well, we'll go for like a half hour and show our faces and then we'll leave, right? Can't be that party central, right? I mean, it's a corporate party. Like, yeah, you think a corporate party is one thing and you're like, okay, well, we'll go show our faces and we'll leave. And then we get there. It's like walking into a movie party. Like, I thought they were filming like another Hangover movie or something. Like, it was.
Well, it was in Vegas, right?
Yeah, but it was at the Resorts World hotel and casino that was opening up. I think it opened like a month ago, and they rented out the whole space for this party.
Okay.
There were, I mean, I sent you guys pictures, and videos, but like, there were 3 DJs. There was a party inside and a party outside. There was like a drone light show outside. There were, so all the bartenders and the waitresses and the waiters were like, if you like looked up the word sex in a dictionary, this group of people would be there. They were like
damn.
They were like, all of them were like the prettiest people you've ever seen in your life. It's just like, the music was loud. There was smoke. There was fog machines. There were lasers.
I remember from the video you sent us in our group text.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this shit looks lit. Like,
Dude.
like I don't know what that girl's doing with that hoop back there, but I love it.
Yeah. So okay. So there's like these 2 chicks dancing in like sexy Daft Punk costumes. That's literally the best thing I could describe it as, right? And they were like lights all over these costumes, and they were like doing robot dances or whatever. And then there's this chick in the middle of the dance floor, and she had a hula hoop, and she was like, we were there for 4 hours, and she was there the whole time, just doing all these hula hoopy things and whatever. And like, it was like the craziest thing I've ever been to in my life. And like, I mean, I don't know if people like party like this all the time, and I just am like from this little Amish town in Ohio or whatever, but like, I seriously, like, so they took us all by bus from our hotel to this one.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you got there, you had to like show your little badge or whatever, right? They gave us all badges and you had to show it off, and like, they're like, okay, right around the corner, please. And like, so you go in this door and you walk in. It's like this nice hotel. Okay, whatever. Then there's another ramp where there's these huge bouncer dudes standing there. Like, literally the comedic stereotype of a bouncer. Like, the big dude with the glasses and, like, the headsets and the cell phones. And you're just like, oh, my gosh, dude. This, like, good luck trying to get in here. We walk in and there's, like, lasers in the first bar, and there's a rotating screen above the bar with like all the sponsors for this event on this screen, and it's rotating literally above the bar, and all the drinks were free. Everybody was drinking as much as they possibly could. And like the entire room is orange and blue for the event and stuff. And like, I'm trying to like avoid names because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say and how much I am not. I don't know. I think I'm fine, but whatever. And there are like a couple couches in the corner of this first bar that you walked into. Couches in the corner. There are some arcade machines. There are some like jukeboxes, whatever. And then you walk through these doors that like they're just like, what, like literally after you get your drink, there were people standing at this door, and they're like, welcome to the party. And they open the door, and you walk in, there's this huge, massive stage when you walk in, and there's a DJ, and then like the 2 Daft Punk chicks, and there's this guy dancing on stilts, like the hula hoop chick, and like all these like just sexy people walking around, and you're just like, what did I just walk into? Fog machines as you're walking down the ramp, like strobe lights, lasers, smoke, like everybody's dancing, partying, having a good time. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then there's this whole buffet of food that wraps around. Like, so you walk down the ramp and like the dance floor is like up by the stage, and there's couches and chairs literally lining the dance floor for people to sit at and chill and whatever. And then you go up a couple flight of stairs from the dance floor, and there's tables and chairs lined up around, and this huge buffet of like just whatever you could think of that you wanted to eat was there. Literally anything you wanted just lined up, and they just kept bringing it out and bringing it out and bringing it out. And we ate dinner before, so we didn't eat, but it was like, oh my gosh, what is all this? And then they had like these walls that you could like write your name on in glowy marker or whatever, and they would like blacklight walls, and these markers shown in the blacklight, whatever. And then like we were like, oh my gosh, this party's crazy. And then on the other side, there's another door that goes outside, and there's another party going on outside.
That's insane, dude.
So we walk outside. There are 2 pools with like beach balls and lifeguards and like these. I'm going to use the word tent, but they were like they were literally little makeshift shelters with like TVs and couches inside, and waiters would walk up, and you literally saw like the hot people sitting in their own little like tents having a good time with each other. And there was like a tarot card reader and like glow in the dark cornhole somewhere, and like skee ball and basketball, and like another DJ and another dance floor. And they had like this electronic violinist who was like dancing across the stage, and they had like these they had like a singer there that was probably big in Vegas that I don't really know, and like roller skating stunt people like on the stage, like flying back and forth. I'm like, what is happening at this party? Like, where am I? And then all of a sudden everybody's like, look up, look up, look up. And you see literally everybody at the same time whip out their phones, and you look up and there's like this drone show going on to the music.
Where in the air?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. They were like forming different things. Like one of them was like a dancing person, and one of them was like spelling out like,
all right, dude. I just gotta tell you right now, like if they ever say, hey, bring a +1, I'm your +1.
I mean, he told me I could bring my wife, but like obviously we were working.
I'll be your wife. I'll be your wife.
But
I mean, you'll have a good time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was like I was like, I literally just thought that these parties existed in movies.
That what you're describing is kind of like what I imagine in The Hangover, but I didn't think really exist in real life unless maybe you were a celebrity because you have the money,
right?
Yeah, and this is what this felt like, was like a celebrity party. And then like after we walked around the pool section of the party, and we went in the back way to this other like room, and there's another DJ in there, and it's like it was like the quiet party, but it was still like loud as fuck in there, and there was like probably 100 people in there too, just like drinking and socializing, doing whatever. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. It was insane. So and I've never seen so many pretty people in one place in my life, though. I gotta tell you, I was like, oh my god, what is happening? Yeah. So.
I am at a loss for words. Like I just feel like I need to experience this one time, man.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
like I'm officially living vicariously through you now.
Well,
for these things.
I mean, supposedly we're going again next year to the same event, so
If I ever tried to party like that, though, at my age and just life, I think I would die.
I mean, I felt like I was dying about an hour in, but like I had like, it's like one of those things that you kind of like I kind of had to be there because like I was with people that wanted to be there. Uh but yeah, it was I wish this party would have been like on the first night and not the third night because I had already worked like probably 12 or 15-hour days at that point, just doing stuff. And yeah, it was crazy though. Uh, yeah, I don't even know how else to explain any of this. It was just, it seriously just felt like a movie set and like we were, I really thought like, oh, are they doing some kind of thing here? Like besides this party? Because there's really a lot going on. Somebody should probably be filming this.
So Corey, when are we
Yeah.
gonna have our boss rush party in Vegas like that?
Oh God. Support us on Patreon and maybe you can support our party. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was actually thinking about that though. Like someday I would like to have like a live show. Like a live show for us and our fans, and like I hope we're that big someday where we can like rent out a room or whatever and have 50 or 100 people come in and like hang out with us and watch live shows, and we can do dumb stuff like skits or
Oh
tell
man, that'd be
dumb stories or something. But
Yeah.
like, and everybody goes out to dinner afterwards or whatever, like in I don't know, something. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. This party was just it was crazy. I never felt so like it was weird. I never felt so like happy and excited and more out of place at the same time. Because like if this was like 10 years ago, I would have been all over that place, like jumping around and partying and doing like what all the younger people were doing. But like, I was like, oh my gosh, I felt too old to be there, but also it was for a bunch of people who are kind of like, I don't want to say older because that's kind of mean, but like, it was an enterprise technical conference that we were doing stuff for. And people that were at this party were people who were working for the company that put on the conference and, people who are in the enterprise IT space. So it seems to skew a little older. But it was wild. It's wild. It's wild. That's all I have to say about that.
I wish I was in my 20s again.
Man, even like 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh, yeah, sure. But
not anymore.
I mean, my body's just falling apart this year. I busted my toe. I busted my knee. Just.
But I'm glad you had that experience, though. I just, oh man, what I would give to just see it in person.
Yeah, it was something to see for sure.
When's your next work travel thing?
I don't know. They're talking about doing a company retreat in the summer, but that's not really it's not going to be anything like this. So I don't really know what this is, and I don't even know if I'm going to be traveling a lot. I wasn't hired in to be the traveling person. This is more of a, hey, everybody's either on vacation or traveled last week, or somebody's tired, so we need a volunteer to help, and I just volunteered to help. But
Hey, when are you going to Boston?
that I'm not sure either.
Because we got tons of parties over here. None of our bars close by 10 or 11 at night in Boston. We're a very sleepy city, apparently, compared to like New York and LA and Vegas.
Yeah. Stephanie's bar doesn't close at 10. Stephanie's like, my bar closes at 8:30.
Yeah. Yeah. Closes earlier, actually. But I serve some mean coffee at 7 in the morning.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll send you guys more pictures from this because what I sent you is like a tenth of the pictures and videos that I took. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I know in November they're going to Barcelona.
Oh wow.
And they're going a few other places this year, but I don't know when Boston is. At some point.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my story. It was fun.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to send you this. I'm sending you guys something in the group chat right now. It's like a less than 10-second video, but this is what we walked into.
Okay.
Let's do it.
When they said welcome to the party and they opened the doors and let us in. So.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So epic.
Yeah. It was
Very
crazy. So, I mean, if you follow me on social media, you could probably see some pictures because I posted some pictures from it.
Did Crossroads only just follow me now? Because that makes me sad. Why wasn't Crossroads following me earlier?
Because I am terrible at managing a page account. Like you should see how I am with the one for my job, and that's the one that guarantees I get money.
I see how it is. Okay.
Yeah, like the slogan goes, I will try to be better about this shit.
Oh, nice.
Nintendo Power Block follows you, Stephanie.
Yay.
Well, that's because Corey is in charge of that one.
Yep, that is true. I am in charge.
You is.
Did you get the new logo, LeRon?
I did. As a matter of fact, I've already updated the updated.
I told you I would make it during the recording at some point tonight.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, shit. Maybe I shouldn't mass follow all these people because then they might be like they might ban the account for a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's fine. You'll figure it out. Well, this was fun.
Very, very fun.
You are unable to follow more people at this time.
Ah.
Okay.
Ah.
All right. Well, there was a good enough amount of them right there.
It's okay.
I'm glad I was one of them.
Crossroads doesn't follow me.
You weren't that high up on the list yet. Don't worry. Don't worry. It'll come. Your time will come.
Anyways, let's
go ahead and close it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast of the flagship show for the Boss Rush Network. We'd like to go ahead and just show you some love and say thanks for tuning in to us tonight. As usual, here's where you can find us. Stephanie, go first.
Ron, you look like you were struggling for a second.
I know.
I had like a whole bunch of stuff going on my screen, and I was trying to like bring everything back into focus, so it looked like I was looking at the camera more, and I was looking at random thing in the bottom corner of my screen.
Okay. People can find me at Klimov, KLIMOV_author on Twitter and Instagram. I am always, unless we're on break, the Boss Rush podcast and some of the standard def recordings, in particular the classically animated Disney movies. There you go.
All right. Corey?
You can find me at IamCoreyHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast. You can find me on Nintendo Power Block. You can find me on Standard Definition and a plethora of other things here on the Boss Rush Network.
All right. And you can find me on social media at Exodus803. Also, look for me on Twitch and YouTube under that handle, as well as a PlayStation Network and my Steam ID. Don't forget the Crossroads podcast, formerly Crossroads PlayStation Podcast, can be found Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/exodus803. And check me out on some of the various other shows, like the Boss Rush Podcast, Standard Definition for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as Standard Definition for Mass Effect. And Stephanie, I think you and I might want to do our own Standard Definition sometime. Like I already see Corey enough times out the week. I need to see you a little bit more.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll have to figure out either like a certain movie or game.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I'd love to have you on Crossroads next week if you're able to.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Let me just make sure I don't have any meetings at night, but I will try to take advantage of that because it's a rare day when I get invited on a Crossroads.
Yeah. We'd love to have you on.
Okay. Thank you. I'll confirm a little later.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's our show for tonight. Please come back and join us for our next installment of Boss Rush After Dark, where we'll be back with more topics that aren't completely content appropriate for our other anchor shows. We love you. Be better. Be nice to other people. Don't terrorize little furry animals. They're all our friends, even the assholey ones.
Yeah.
And we'll be back for another installment of Boss Rush After Dark. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Good night. Corey, say good night.
Good night.
There you go.
This guy. Good night, everyone.
Sorry, I was looking at the new Crossroads logo.